Hi, everybody, and welcome to the program. Calcium, we call it calcium, but it's really so much more. We're going to find out some things about our calcium product that perhaps you haven't heard of before. All right, so we call it calcium. I would like to see the name changed because it's much more than calcium. Its full name is Calcium D from milk. And you'll see on the slide here, the subtitle, the way nature intended. Now, why would we say that? Certainly, most consumers would prefer.
Dr. Jimmy Gutman, I think you got muted. I don't know why or how, or you are unmuted, but we can listen to you. Can you write if you can listen to me? And if you lost Dr. Jimmy Gutman as well?
Yes, we can hear you, George. Just not
Can you hear me?
Better. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So just in case I'll start over. So calcium D from milk, and you see that the subtext here is the way nature intended. Now, why would we say that? Certainly, most consumers would prefer to take an all-natural product because there are several other reasons. And I'm sure that by the end of this presentation, you'll all be quite convinced that this product is head and shoulders above all the other forms of calcium available on the market. So let's make some comparisons. Now, if I were to go with you over to the local pharmacy or the local health food store, we'd be able to find many forms of calcium. And the most common form of calcium available in a supplement by far is what's called calcium carbonate. So if you pick up the calcium and you look at the ingredients, most of the time it's going to say calcium carbonate. So what is calcium carbonate? Well, quite simply, calcium is a mineral and it's dug up from the earth in the form of rocks. And the most common of which is called dolomite. And dolomite has a number of different applications besides calcium carbonate in pills. But we dig up this calcium from the earth. And calcium carbonate is also used to make blackboard chalk. So the chalk that you see at school underneath the blackboard, this is calcium carbonate. And this is why we don't get upset when a 2-year-old toddler eats a piece of chalk, because it's not going to hurt him. So let's look at some other products that are sold as natural sources of calcium. This is not quite natural. An increasingly popular source is oyster shells. You gather these oyster shells, you crush them up, and you extract the calcium from them. Now, remember, oyster shells or oysters are filter feeders. So whatever toxins appear in the water, by definition, pass through the oyster. Here we see on the dock a worker attempting to clean these shells. I hope he does a good job if people are going to be eating up these crushed shells. Another natural source comes from animal bones. You know, after we remove the meat and the hide and use it for leather, we can take their bones and crush them up to make calcium supplements. I'm not even going to talk about that one. Now look at this beautiful picture of another sort of filter feeder that we call coral. I mean, this is just gorgeous. But fortunately, most coral reefs are highly protected from people damaging them. When I was a kid, we can go out and do some snorkeling and swim around the coral. Now that's very hard to do. These coral reefs are protected, and they really don't like human beings touching them, and they certainly don't like them harvesting them. But there's calcium from coral. So unless you start your own coral farm, your source of coral is likely to be far from pristine. And here we see coral that's been washed up onto the shore. This is easily accessible. And this is a source of calcium. So let's look at a human being's very first source of calcium, and that is mother's milk. Even a newborn's immature digestive system can absorb this calcium, and this, in fact, is the type of calcium we all can absorb efficiently. Of course, at Immunotec, we don't use humans' mother's milk. That would be difficult logistically. We get ours from specific herds of cows. There may be people that have issues there with dairy products, whether it's lactose intolerance or an allergy to specific proteins in milk. But let me draw attention as to how the calcium is actually obtained. All the lactose is removed, so lactose intolerance is a non-issue. All the water is removed, so that many water-soluble toxins are removed. All the fat is removed, so the fat-soluble toxins are also removed, and the protein is also taken away. So if you have a protein allergy, this will not affect you at all. And all what's left is just a pure mineral complex. It's a mineral complex, which includes calcium that we get from this milk. It's not just calcium, it's a mineral complex. So now you've seen that these other sources of calcium, whether they're natural or not, are not the types of calcium that we are meant to absorb very well or very efficiently. We're not meant to be absorbing calcium from oyster shells or from animal bones. Immunotec uses calcium derived from milk. Not only is it the calcium that we've been designed to absorb from birth, but it's also extremely absorbable and extremely bioavailable. It's bioavailable. This is very important. And what's underappreciated is that this mineral complex is not just calcium, it's so much more. Let's take a look. There's magnesium in it, and phosphorus, and potassium, and iron, and zinc, and copper. And in that green diagram, you'll see all the critical roles that these minerals, that these elements play in healthy bone metabolism. So you're not just getting calcium, you're getting all of these. And the only thing that we add to this, I mean, all of those show up naturally in pure milk calcium, except for the vitamin D. This we add. Vitamin D is essential for healthy bones, and recently we've effectively doubled the amount of vitamin D in the product because the more studies that we do, the more apparent it is that much of our population is vitamin D deficient. Finally, let's close off with a really short series of slides that absolutely nails down what we said earlier, the way nature intended. Okay, so here's a picture of a bone, and next to it is a chart with minerals that show up in the bone. We see that calcium is 25%, and then you have these other minerals, and it shows you their relative percentages. This is human bone. This is what a human bone is made up out of. Now let's look at your standard calcium supplement that you're going to find at the health food store or at the pharmacy. Calcium carbonate. What does it have in it? It has calcium in it. Occasionally, some companies will do calcium and magnesium, so it has two things in it, or one thing in it. Take a look at this. Look what appears in calcium D from milk. Not only does it have all the minerals that appear in a human bone, but almost at the same exact ratio that it appears in human bone. This is not a coincidence. We don't mix it up that way. It comes that way. This is what nature intended, to give you the perfect and total bone nutrition. This is not an accident. This is what nature intended for you to use as a mineral source and as a calcium source, because it reflects perfectly the contents of your own bone. So calcium D from milk, why would you choose any other calcium supplement? I mean, you show this to somebody, explain it this way, and there's no way they're going to continue taking the calcium that they've bought in a store.